All right, guys, so we got to talk about this situation here. I can't even make this shit up. In my wildest dreams, I'll probably never even think about something like this. But this is one of the craziest things I've ever seen. And now we've heard a bunch of stories about how in San Francisco they chain up freezers so people don't steal the items. We hear stories of people robbing ice cream stores in the middle of the night, not for the money, not for the expensive equipment, just to rob it for the ice cream. Some of the most absurd things really do come from San Francisco and the rest of the Bay Area, especially Oakland, by the way. So, with ice cream theft up, and ice cream is a popular item to steal. In fact, ice cream is more popular than other items like frozen pizza and stuff like that because you don't have to heat it up. And plus, San Francisco sometimes gets very hot, especially the summer. So they pretty much locked up the ice cream. Some grocery stores are now adding lid locks to pints as a deterrent. That's crazy, right? I've never seen this before. Now, I've seen, those spider wraps on PS4 controllers, PS5 controllers. I've seen Xboxes being locked up, but I've never seen ice cream lids that are literally locked up. That's insane. Okay, tell me a city that has a situation. Now, what do these look like? It looks like this, right? So you do have this one. It's like a Ben and Jerry's. It's essentially like a secure device with metal, combination lock. Like one of these is literally more expensive than like the ice cream itself. Like if you want to buy one of these, they're actually pretty pricey at almost $30. And this looks hilarious, by the way. Like I've never seen this before. I didn't even know these things even existed. But yeah, right? Even New York City has some of them. So I guess what's going on is, a lot of homeless people are actually going to these places and they are just pretty much straight up eating ice cream from the fridges. They actually have to do this. And there's one way to get around it is to pretty much open the ice cream on the bottom with like a knife and then eat it from the bottom. But like I said before, if your city has a bunch of ice cream locked up, like bikes being locked up or like Xboxes being locked up, that city's practically screwed. I've never seen this before. I know I say that a lot, but this is something that's very new to me, and it's probably very new to you guys as well. And yeah, they're basically everywhere. I mean, it's one thing to chain up the freezers, but another thing is once they get through the chain freezers, you gotta find like the passcode to unlock the ice cream. That's San Francisco for you guys, and it's happening everywhere. And it's happening in New York City. It's happening in San Francisco. This is like a very popular method. And if you also look around, you also have, a New York Times columnist pretty much saying the San Francisco atmosphere is very, very sad. The crime surge is crazy and says that they are all paying the price. And it pretty much says that this whole entire city has become like a surveillance kind of state, right? You just have cameras everywhere in stores. Everything's being locked up. It's super dystopian. I mean, only in those crazy movies do you see all these everyday essentials being locked up. Security's everywhere, cameras everywhere. You gotta like press a button to enter. You gotta press a button to get an item. It is like super dystopian in San Francisco, and the city is to blame. Has the city addressed any of the issues? Yeah, they've addressed it. Have they fixed it? Absolutely no. What I don't get is how come they don't just clean up the homelessness, right? San Diego, okay, they are a W city right now simply because they're actually cleaning up massive stretches of tents, massive homeless encampments in the downtown and the rest of the city area, and designating certain parts of the city to be used for homeless tents. That's kind of like what San Francisco needs to be doing. And plus, for the homeless individuals, that's probably better because you could have tents popped up in this one secure location recognized by the city council. That way, everyone's safe. It's cleaner, it's better hygiene. Also, if anyone needs special attention, they could get it. You can't just have random tents popping around in the middle of downtown because your city's gonna go broke. So big applause for San Diego. Okay, I know not everyone's gonna agree with me, but in my opinion, if you want to save the people who are homeless, the people who are hooked on drugs, the city needs money. If the city is broke, they're not gonna help anyone. And the only way for cities to make money is to make it from those business owners and those CEOs who are hosted in the city. San Diego was on the brink of actually packing up shop and having a bunch of business owners leave like San Francisco. Guys, even CNN witnesses 3 shoplifting incidents within 30 minutes at San Francisco Walgreens. Okay, and a lot of times it is like the frozen food aisle, because that's one of the last spots they do try to lock up. Stores are locking up everything from coffee to frozen foods to combat theft. And you also have a news reporter from CNN visiting one Walgreens hit by shoplifters so hard, they pretty much get shoplift more than a dozen times a day. And just during the reporting, happened 3 times. Okay, and usually it's like a lot of things. I mean, at this point, when people are hungry, they want something to drink, whatever it is, just go to Walgreens, steal something, and go out. This is why Walgreens shut down like 5 different stores in San Francisco. They don't want to be there. When Walgreens is spending more money on ice cream locks, more money on security gates, more money on, pretty much locks and glass. I mean, how are you supposed to make money from this? You can't make money from this anywhere. This is why big retailers like Old Navy, Nordstrom, they've left. Westfield Mall is like pretty much 50% vacant. They're shutting down. Their logo's gone. And there's just homeless people in front of the building now. And if you look at this hardware store, it's not even like a Home Depot or Lowe's. It's just a San Francisco family-owned hardware store that has lost a staggering $700,000 in a single year to organized shoplifting. And for the robbers that are robbing these stores, you can't even use excessive violence either, right? And plus, like, it's also pretty dangerous to try to confront them. You're probably gonna get hurt. Now, there's this one security guard who like shot a person that was robbing a store, got fined for $1,500. And I guarantee you, that security guard is probably never going to be a security guard again. He probably doesn't want to do anything because that's a very expensive ticket, bro. $1,500, and you don't even make that much as a security guard protecting these retail stores. So I have no clue what this city's like, right? There's shoplifting everywhere. Oh, by the way, don't even bother calling the cops at that point. They're not going to do anything. The cops in San Francisco are so overstretched because of the whole defund the police situation. They're short like 600 to 700 different officers. And the 911 staff is like a skeleton staff. They barely have any staff in it. Whereas beforehand, San Francisco was pretty decent. They did respond to a decent amount of calls. They were like a decent crew of 911 guys. But now the situation is getting worse. I mean, you got single family stores like these. They thinking about leaving. Come on. Like $700,000 worth of items stolen in a single year. That's one of the craziest numbers I've ever heard. And if it's like a Lowe's and Home Depot, they could easily recoup their losses. But they can't. The thefts come as Bay Area and the rest of the U.S. deal with a spike in thefts totaling nearly $100 billion in losses, with a high amount of them being the Bay Area. If you do it by city and city-wise, San Francisco definitely has one of the highest shoplifting incidences I have ever seen. And these situations are happening every single day. They're constant. They're not stopping. People locking up ice cream like this with PIN code. It's crazy. And it's going to continue happening unless something changes with the city, which I really hope does change because the streets are getting more and more empty every single day.